South Carolina is on our minds tonight because Republican voters are at the polls today for a Senate primary runoff. All this politicking in late summer, a bit of a surprise due to the unexpected death of Senator Lindsey Graham. On the ballot today, Senator Darline Graham, the late senator's sister, and Congressman Ralph Norman. Graham, as you probably know, has the endorsement of President Trump, and that's putting it mildly. Ed O'Keefe joins me now from Columbia, South Carolina. So, Ed, set the scene and the stakes.
Well, Major, we've never had a special election runoff primary quite like this. And in my years of doing this, I've never ended an election night at a law firm. But that's where Darline Graham's holding her election night party tonight with the lawyers. Just an interesting choice of venue. This has been an interesting one, and it took a turn last week, you may have heard, when Darline Graham got asked a question about whether Taiwan and the South China Sea are important to national security. And she essentially said, unlike my brother, I'm not really into national security. I'm more concerned about issues like affordability. So it was interesting when we heard her respond to questions about the president's decision to put more tariffs on Canada and affordability, how she answered. Take a listen.
I completely trust the president when it comes to tariffs. I know tariffs are hard and not everybody likes them, but they're a great negotiating tool. And I think he's got our best interest in mind, so he's using it as a tool to help our country. So I completely trust President Trump on the tariffs.
And is there something you do affirmatively, some piece of legislation to help drive down the cost of things?
We'll see when I get there.
We'll see when I get there. She's been there for several weeks as the appointed senator, so she couldn't answer questions last week on foreign policy. She couldn't give a specific answer on economic policy, even though she says that's the issue that voters have been talking to her about. And it's that concern that she may not quite be ready for this that has many Republicans in this state believing she may not pull it off tonight. And the five-term Congressman Ralph Norman, member of the House Freedom Caucus, whose politics line up with the MAGA movement and the president pretty well, may be able to eke out a win here and end the Graham legacy after nearly 30 years of public service to the Palmetto State, Major.
Yes, and Ed, South Carolina is a Republican state. It is a very clearly aligned Trump state, yet there is a Democrat, Annie Andrews, waiting for whoever emerges from tonight's runoff, and I understand you had a chance to talk with her.
Yeah, in part because, we've never really seen a candidate see her opponent die during the campaign and then have to recalibrate. So we wanted to check in with her. She's a pediatrician from the Charleston area who had run for Congress before unsuccessfully and knows that she's got an uphill climb in a state like this. You know, there are reaches that both parties try to think, well, if this happens or that happens or the mood really changes, maybe we have a shot. You'd have to put this in the very far maybe column for Democrats, but Andrews has an interesting story to tell, and we talked to her a little bit about her would-be opponents. Take a listen to what she said.
Both of these Republicans in the runoff today represent everything that's wrong with Washington, D.C. Darline has said she'll just be up there to do whatever Donald Trump tells her to do. She will be a rubber stamp. She will not offer any checks and balances on this administration that is out of control. And Ralph Norman is a 73-year-old career politician who's enriched himself while in office. He'd be 79 years old at the end of his freshman term in the U.S. Senate.
President Trump won South Carolina by 18 points in 2024. Andrews suggests that she's in a much tougher race with whoever her Republican opponent is. We'll see, Major. But ultimately, again, tonight, whoever prevails has the edge going into November.
And on Darline Graham's behalf, the president has not just conducted a rally, a tele-rally, but also devoted some of his super PAC money to get out the vote effort. So the president all in on this. Ed O'Keefe, thank you very much.